here we are with another recipe. Moving on from Indian this time, we're going back to Greek, seeing as that's where I am most of the time. These are the last of the tomatoes from the garden. Well, there's a few out there looking a bit sad. Some of these are ridiculously squishy, so I'm being a bit careful because I don't want to get exploded tomato all over me. Now, what I have here in this pot, those were, I know they look a bit peculiar, but they are in fact beans. That was 1 cup of Greek Gigantes beans, which are, they're basically enormous butter beans, but you can use canned beans, you can use whatever dried. Basically, it's your dinner, so use whatever bean you wish to use. We tend to use white beans more traditionally, but if you don't have white beans, use whatever beans you do have. If you're using dried beans, soak them overnight and then cook them the next day for, I would say, about an hour. Do not salt the water. I know there's all these schools of thought that say salt the water, don't salt the water. I'm erring on the side of caution. I don't salt the water, just in case it toughens the skins of the beans up. But I do put a little bit of bicarbonate of soda in there because that seems to make them more digestible, if you see what I mean. The next day, you cook them until they're almost done, and then you put them in a pot like that, or whatever pot you've got. The tomatoes, I used a cup of beans, which is about 250 grams, I think. But obviously, if there's more of you, use more beans. There's only me. So, this lot, I would say we've got about a cup and a half of tomato. To be honest, it doesn't really matter, because all that's going to happen is they're going to go in with the beans, and that's it. I'm going to chop up the rest of these little ones so they don't feel lonely and left out. You don't want to be the last tomato left in the rack, do you really? Now these, the recipe actually called for red onions, but I saw these. Look at these. Aren't they amazing? Those are red spring onions. I've never seen red spring onions before, but by golly am I going to use them. So, take off the dry bits at the end. And by the way, America, why do you never use... There's always... I see them using this bit and never this bit. I don't understand. Perfectly good. They're disappointingly white on the inside. So, yeah, bit of a rough chop. I'm not particularly... These are going to cook in the oven for a while, so I'm not particularly fussed about them being, you know, perfect. That goes in. I might even go mad. Use another one. I do like the ends. I love the ends of spring onions. I think they just add such a nice little flavour. So all of those people that don't use them, stop it. Do not discriminate against the ends. Ends are good. I'm so sad that the inside isn't red as well. I think that's a bit of a switch. I'm not entirely sure who I'm supposed to complain to about a spring onion that isn't red all the way through. Yes, I'm being careful with this knife. It's a very sharp knife. Right, that's that lot in there, apart from that bit. off my hand. Oh, those are powerful. Crikey, those are powerful spring onions. Woohoo! Crumbs. Right, this is oregano from my garden. If you haven't got it in the garden, just just buy some or use dried. It's fine. That goes in there. Now the fun bit. Garlic. Oh yes. Those spring onions are still getting me from the pot. I mean, for goodness sake, that's from the pot. Put in as much or as little garlic as you want. It's up to you. If you don't like it that much, don't put much in. I would say you don't have to put it in at all, but then I'd have to check that I was actually myself. What I'm doing, by the way, I'm wiping my eyes because those onions, oh my god, those onions are powerful. Cool. Oof. That's ridiculous. I mean, yes, okay. Yes, I am putting a lot of garlic in, but I really like garlic. And as far as I'm concerned, it's good for you. And I like garlic. There's something quite therapeutic actually about smashing cloves of garlic. I don't think I can be bothered to chop them anymore. It's all going to cook down anyway, because I'm going to put some liquid in with the beans. I was supposed to reserve some of the cooking liquid from the beans, according to the recipe. I failed. I failed miserably. But I'm fairly certain that I'm going to be able to cope. Right, now we have going in. You won't be surprised to know. Olive oil. Quite a lot. Please do not be shy with the olive oil. There's a group of dishes in Greek cooking that are basically olive oil based. And the oil contributes to the flavour of the dish. So don't stint. Oh look, I found some more garlic. Just put that oil in there and let it do its thing. It adds to the richness of the dish. And this is why we tend to be a bit protective about our olive oil, because it's what we've been cooking with for generations. And frankly, if it was good enough for Aristotle, it's completely good enough for me. Right, okay, so we've got the tomatoes, onions, garlic, oregano. This is something I'm going to put in there. Don't panic if you can't get hold of this. This is called petimezi or pekmez. It's grape molasses. But if you can't get it, really, just don't worry. Just use a bit of balsamic vinegar and a bit of honey and you'll be fine. It just adds a little bit of... It adds a back note to the dish that seems to... People won't know what it is. So it keeps them guessing. I'll just put that there so you can actually see what's going on. Yes, I am putting everything in sick because it makes clean-up a lot easier. What I'm also going to do... I'm not going to salt yet. I'll salt halfway through. What else have we put? Oh, I know. A little bit of vinegar. Whatever vinegar you have, essentially. And I will put in, because of the tomatoes, I will put in a little bit of sugar. Sometimes tomatoes can be... They can be funny beasties, they can be too acidic, they can be... they just need a bit of help. I'm in love. I'm in love with this. Look. Isn't that pretty? Yes, I'm sniffing. These onions are ridiculous. So I apologise for the sniffing. I'm so sorry. Right, what else do I need to put in there? I think I need to put some water in there. I'm going to put in a little bit of cumin. Because this is the difference. Cypriot cooking, Greek cooking has a lot of cinnamon in it. Anyway, so I'll put some of that in. Literally just a touch, so you get background. Cypriot cooking also has the Arab influence. So I'm going to stick some of the cumin in as well. Again, not too much. You just want, I'd say that's about 1/4 of a teaspoon. And we will get some water if I can find a jug. And I would say you don't want to cover it, but you do want the beans to kind of cook in the liquid, so probably about a cup of water there. Give it a bit of a mix. I'm tempted to put some fresh mint in there as well, but it's in the garden and I'm not in the garden. So that is going to go into the oven. I would say I'm probably going to put it on a low heat, so probably between 150 and 160 fan. After about half an hour, take it out, stir it so that the liquid gets evenly distributed, and then I'll come back to you probably after another half hour after that. So here we are back after, I'd say probably had an hour in the oven, because I was an idiot and forgot to take the lid off. So it took a little bit longer. So we've got another half hour to go because it still needs to thicken up. So what I'm going to do is add, see, now I can put the salt in. It looks like a lot, but don't forget I didn't salt the beans. I haven't salted this at all. So don't panic. And now we put in a little bit of, if I can make sure I get it in there, this is commandaria wine. It's a Cypriot wine. It's a, if you can actually see that, it is a fortified wine. It's one of the oldest wines in the world. It is absolutely beautiful. Now, this is coming from somebody who doesn't drink. I love it. I love the smell of it. The taste of it when you cook with it is, it's fruity and it's rich. It is just gorgeous. So I'm going to put a little bit of that in. This goes back in the oven for another half an hour, and then I'll show it to you when it's done. Here we have the beans out of the oven after their additional half hour, and personally I think they look pretty good. I'm not going to eat them tonight. I'm going to have them tomorrow, because if you make these, and I mean they'd be good now, because I mean they're full of everything. It's just delicious. But let me see if I can get a closer in. If you leave these to tomorrow and you just have them with some really good bread, the flavours will develop. It will just be so much nicer. So I'm going to leave these till tomorrow, and then I will enjoy. I'll put the full recipe up underneath this, and I hope you try and make this yourself. I'm just loving the colours. I can't stop looking. Sorry. There we are. Come back out. Yes, I know the pot is a bit of a mess, but I wouldn't worry too much. That's what pots are made for.